One of the great influences upon James Jordan's thought is Eugen Rosenstock-Huessy, and he talks a lot about time within his work. One of his great concepts is the cross of reality. The cross of reality can be seen on 4 different axes. We might think about it as forward, backward, inward, and outward. And as we think about the different aspects of our lives, this particular formula, I think, is very illuminating. The forward dimension relates us to the future, backward to the past, inward to the interior of the person, of the group, or of some other body, and then outward to the external world from which we're distinguished. And when we think about time, we tend to think about it in an analytic way, as an external sort of scientific reality that can be measured and pinpointed. And yet time, as it matters for us, often relates to the patterns of human existence that can't easily be measured by the clock. And so Eugen Rosenstock-Huessy is very attentive to facets of time to which our society has been dulled. He thinks, for instance, about the way that there is epochal time, those patterns that are repeating, those patterns that have been set in ritual and other ways that we repeat and play out again and again. We might think about the patterns of our own lives. We have rituals and routines that shape our everyday. And those things just continue existing patterns. There's also dramatic time, the sort of time that breaks with the past, breaks with existing rituals, and starts something new. An example of this might be marriage. A marriage is an event in which a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife. A new history is started, a new entity, a family. And as that man is joined with his wife, they create a new time together, the time of their shared life as a married couple. The time that existed prior to that, the time that existed in his father's house, has passed, and now a new chapter has begun. That's a movement from epochal time, the patterns of existing life, to dramatic time, the break with the past and the start of something new. We might also think about time in terms of the relationships between these different things, the relationship between the forward aspect of time with the future and the relationship with the backward aspect of time, the past. This can be seen in the relationship that a culture has with its future, where decadence, for instance, can break down that relationship. So it's no longer driving forward and creating something new. It has given up on the future and just stagnates in the present, often in excessive dependence upon luxuries and a form of life that is just not invested in going forward. Our relationship with the past can be broken as we dishonor our father and mother, as we engage in revolution, for instance, and turn over the patterns and the realities of the past to start something completely new, as if it were a blank slate. But there are other aspects of time that we can think about. Clock time, as we've discussed it, could be thought about in Huessy's understanding as a sort of analytic time, the way that we measure and determine time with a clock, or the way that we might measure it for a scientific experiment. We might think about lyrical time, internal time, something that we experience as we're transported by beauty, maybe some moment of a sunset or something like that. Rosenstock-Huessy is very attentive to the way that these relationships across time are shaped by relationships between persons. As we think about the movement through time, that movement is played out in individual lives. We can think, for instance, about the vows that we make, for instance, to another party, in our spouse, in marriage, for instance. Keeping that vow represents continuity of the person through time. To break such a vow is a breach in that person's life. There's a discontinuity there that has presented some sort of break between what they were once and what they are now. A continuity has broken down. But this is also something that exists between generations. The transitions that occur as the baton of history is passed on to a new generation. That struggle of revolution and decadence is often experienced along generational lines. Rosenstock-Huessy is very attentive to the process of education as that by which we transmit things across time. Think, for instance, about the way that a teacher relates to a student They are not contemporaries. They are distemporaries. They come from different times, and one time is being passed on to the next. There's a transition taking place. Neil Postman has spoken about children as the living messages that we send to a future that we will not see. And that continuity between the generations, a continuity that is not a flat continuation, just repetition, but a genuine continuity with transformation, is a reality that shapes all of our lives. We are all products of our parents' education and formation, but we are also different from them. We've been shaped and formed by our own actions and our own stories and our own influences, and we are moving forward and shaping others. As Rosenstock-Huessy talks about time, one of the things that he keeps returning to is the importance of speech. Speech is that which holds things together across different axes. So if we want to hold a group in its inward unity, we sing together. Song is the form of speech that holds us together within. As individuals, we sing and we coordinate our bodies according to song. And we also have a sense of being inspired and our emotions being conscripted by song. Song binds together a group of people as we all sing together in a sports game, for instance. Or we might think about the way that song binds a congregation together as they sing a great hymn or chant a psalm. Now, when we think about external speech, we can think maybe of scientific speech, the way that we describe the world, the way that we talk about things in a more theoretical way. On the relationship between past and future, we might reflect upon memorial of the past as we tell the history of what God has done in the past. Or as we talk about the future in prophecy, and we anticipate and drive people towards the future in law and instruction. There is a sense in which our relationship between past and future is mediated by education, by generational succession, and most of all, in all of these things, by speech.